Ooh, things are about to get juicy, y'all. Ooh. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, make sure you have watched episode 2 of Campaign 4 Critical Role, because I'm about to spoil some crazy things in here, because some things went down and I was like, ooh, it's getting juicy. I'm messy. I love this stuff. So, again, I am a non-TTRPG person who is a fan of Critical Role and likes tabletop gaming, and I'm here to give you my ramble and rant of unfiltered opinions about episode 2 of Critical Role Campaign 4, titled Broken Wings. So let's get into it, shall we? So episode 2 kind of is the fallout from the premiere is still echoing. Again, the hero turned martyr Tazi Fang's execution is still reverberating, and now, y'all, we are watching the investigation, politics, hidden agendas, the mysterious artifact, the Stone of Night Song. It gets all a little bit more complex in this episode. And you know what? This is going to be interesting. So let's just get into all the repercussions that were witnessed here. How's it scrambling, shifting alliances, secret investigations? Like, let's do this, shall we? So I'm just going to jump straight into the ending, because one of the biggest things that happened and one of the biggest threads that happened in this episode was the noble House Halovar. We see them stepping into the spotlight in new ways here. It's noted, at least from my understanding, that Halovar is implicated in some serious business. They've been harvesting the blood of the Celestial that got revealed at the ending, and it's being imprisoned to empower, the creed known as the Candescent, which is nuts to watch, y'all. That's crazy to me. And to me, this is huge because it ties into the long-dead gods and the vacuum of power in the world of Aramán, and the fact that the idea that a noble house is secretly doing something utterly monstrous adds weight to it. And again, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this, but Wick, played by Sam Riegel, learns about this from the insiders of the House Halovar. This gives us a window into the dark underlayers of power, and I'm kind of here for it. But I also think to myself, what I loved about this moment is that it takes the noble house trope and it gives it like real horror. Celestial blood harvesting? That's intense. And it raises the question now, who do we trust and how clean are the proposed good guys? Another major moment for me in this episode was the strands around Tazi's death and the Stone of Night Song deepening. We learned that the rescue attempt wasn't just a side note. Thimble, Occtis, Kattigan are actively chasing down what happened, which is very great. And you know what? Those three go to a tavern run by the Crow Keepers to track a missing mercenary from the rescue plan, which leads me to my big 2 questions I have about this. Why was the rescue plan bungled? And who is controlling or hunting the Stone of Night Song? Here, my personal take on all of this, I feel like this part of the episode did a really good job of layering intrigue. There was action, which included, searching for the missing mercenary, but also has massive implications that there might be betrayal, where there's an artifact thief, and honestly, this kind of pulled me into the mystery rather than just action for, the sake of having action on the screen. And from a narrative writing perspective, because that's where my brain is when it comes to, running TTRPGs, is my thought is writing and creating more of a cinematic device of storytelling than be like normal fantasy, because that's not my bread and butter. But what I loved about episode 2 is that in weird ways, it leaned into the themes, the broken wings metaphor specifically of the title episode of this episode, where, the broken wings metaphor, the fall of heroes, lost power, secrets beneath gilded facades. And you know what, for me, it's giving me like an Evangelion tone, which is big, existential, and grand. Like, for example, the scene in, the underground vault of House Halovar, where Wick and Tyranny were escorted in, ramps up the mood. I love the way that the set kind of also plays a part into the narrative storytelling, which is the art direction, the shadowed rooms, the alien celestials, ancient tech and rituals. It reinforces that, for me at least, this campaign isn't going to be go on a quest, your typical fantasy. It's go unravel a falling world and its cathedral-like secrets. And I love me some good conspiracy theories, y'all. This is going to be crazy. So my personal commentary on this particular moment for me is that I appreciate how they're investing into the atmosphere, not just set pieces. And honestly, if you're watching, pay close attention to the decor of the Halovar vault, the imagery of the missing mercenary, the contrast between the visible houses and what they hide. So here are the things I liked and things that I'm going to be looking out for after episode 2. So here's what stood out to me. Again, ambition and scale is great. You know, to bring multiple plot threads into episode 2 instead of waiting, I loved, because we're continuing to move the narrative forward. Not only that, there was the deepening the mystery rather than slowing it down. We don't get all the full answers yet, but the questions ramp up, and I love asking me some questions. Another thing I loved is the character focus. Even in this large cast, moments like Wick's discovery or Thimble's accusation feel meaningful, which was fantastic. So after episode 2, now here's what I'm looking for. I'm hoping that there won't be too many pacing risks. With so many threads, it's easy to drop side plots or lose momentum. Will the show balance all of these threads effectively? And going back to the artifact, the Stone of Nightsong is teased heavily. They now need to show what it does or risk it feeling like a MacGuffin. And again, I feel like character investment is going to take some time to get used to. I'm enjoying everyone so far, but some characters are definitely emphasized in this episode, like Wick, Occtis, Thimble. I want to see if lesser focused ones get their moments soon, but my overall feeling of episode 2, it's a strong second chapter. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't let you breathe. Instead, it pulls you further into the intrigue. And honestly, if you were on the fence after episode 1, I think this might hook you, since episode 1 is more focused on introducing your characters and the setting and, you know, what's starting off this whole crazy adventure. So personally, I left this episode feeling hungry, if that makes any sense. There's something grand and mysterious in the world of Aramán, not just we've got a hero who died in an artifact. We're now, seeing how everything is kind of tied together. The tone is darker, the stakes are more opaque, and to me that's kind of exciting. It's not just find thing or save the person, it's figure out who betrayed you, why the heroes are broken, what power emerges from the ruins. If there is a slight criticism, some of the threads might feel slight if you're not invested in every character yet, but I'm personally optimistic because the writing seems aware of that and it's giving strong moments already. So one last piece, here are my predictions, things to keep an eye out for in the upcoming episodes. I want to know, again, I still want to know the real identity and the power of the Stone of Nightsong when we see its reveal. It should hit. How now that House Halovar is like exposing the secret, and we know, as people watching, we know their dirty secret. What are they willing to do to keep their secret from being exposed? I want to see character arcs for some of the other players we haven't got to see moments shine from. Everybody needs someone in the cast who becomes your character emotionally, and I'm still trying to figure out who mine is. The structure of the West Marches style play, which rotating group picks up the thread and when those threads are intersect. And honestly, I'm kind of interested in how the world's history, you know, the gods being gone, celestials have fallen, the revolutionary brew plays into the present story. If they lean into that mythology, I think this campaign could be something really epic. If episode 2 shows momentum, I'm hoping and I'm expecting episode 3 will deliver some more shock and reveal that changes the playing field for me personally. So yeah, there you have it. That's my rant and ramble of episode 2 of Campaign 4 Broken Wing, which I thought delivered an intrigue, stakes, and world building. If you watched it, what moment hit you the hardest? Which character are you the most curious about? And what do you think the Stone of Nightsong really does? Drop your thoughts below. I mean, I'm reading as much as I can. If you're new to Critical Role and wondering if this campaign is worth diving into, I'm gonna say yes. I think this is a great moment to jump in. The YouTube playback crew, there's only 2 episodes. Episode 3 is dropping this Monday, October 20th. So I'm gonna be watching/listening to it the following Saturday and then giving you my video next week on all that good stuff. So make sure you like and follow for more recaps and deep dives. I want to keep this going. I'm probably going to keep it going even if no one watches, but hey, it's just ramp and ramble. So, but if you watched all the way through, I appreciate you, and I'll see you next Saturday for my ramble and recap of episode 3 of Critical Role. So until then, peace, y'all. Love ya. Mwah.